So I've been super slacking on providing YouTube content on the new build. So here we go. I've got the differential like 97% together. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. I put it together on the bench upside down, so when I flipped it around, of course, I had the rotors swapped left and right. But yeah, having the rear-facing wheelwood calipers, the oversized vented drilled slotted rotors, that is turned out exactly how I hoped it would. So super stoked on that. Not a whole lot new going on inside. Decided to use a 66 Mustang gauge cluster. I'm going to fit some universal analog gauges in there. Same old going on here. The M62 TU is still sitting in the frame rails for mock-up and fitting and fabricating and spacing of stuffs. But check this out. Yes. M62B44, non-TU, non-Vanos, with M60B40 cams and the double row timing chains. You'll notice the first thing out of place is a distributor. That is a 1960s Ford points distributor. I picked one up that was seized, so I didn't kill a working unit. The ignition wires are guitar speaker cable. And inside the speaker cable is two 16-gauge wires like that. And I figured what I can do is I can run the VAG R8 style ignition coils underneath those covers. And then I can send 12 volts and the 5-volt trigger to them, and then ground them where they mount there on the inside of the cylinder head. And it would give me a very, vintage-looking, racy type engine that would probably fit right at home in something like that. So yeah, that was one of those ideas I wanted to try out. The M60B40 cams, I did degree them in with a degree wheel on the crank and a dial indicator. Found true TDC using a piston stop. I set them up on a 106 degree intake, 108 degree exhaust for a 107 degree lobe separation. And it's getting there. The headers are for modular Ford. They are designed to be a turbo install kit. I flipped them around, faced them backwards, and welded the pipes M80s directly to them. I'm using the BMW M60B40 aftermarket header flanges as my adapters to get to the Ford modular bolt pattern. And the spacing isn't perfect, but this real small 1.5-inch pipe diameter for some reason on these turbo manifolds, they allow me to line up the ports on the head from the size difference. So that's kind of cool. You can also see my oil filter adapter bolted to the side of the block here. BMW usually has the motor mount there, and then the two lines come out of the motor mount and go to a remote mount canister style oil filter. So that kind of cleans things up, but you can't use the stock motor mount arms. So you end up using the bolt patterns further back and make your own motor mounts, which is turning out way cleaner on this one anyway. My alternator's broken. That's okay. It actually has the best spinning bearings of any alternator I think I've ever felt, so I'm gonna run it until it doesn't run anymore. The ITBs are an aftermarket kit for the Toyota 1UZ. John at Part Spy, who is so awesome to design and make the supercharger adapters that go onto the M60, he also made a set of spacers for me to lift up the supercharger a bit. So when it came time for this idea, I requested if he would make a set of spacers again for me. They have the BMW bolt pattern and the intake runners cut out of them. And then I'm going to drill and modify the spacers for the 1UZ bolt pattern and then try and do some hand blending between the two ports. But we'll see how that goes. When I started putting this engine together, I told myself I was not going to get carried away and do the whole thing in black oxide socket cap bolts. And you see how long that lasted. The fuel rails are 1UZ. They're just kind of loosely hanging out there, so if they look a little funky, it's because nothing's bolted down. I'm going to continue running the Speeduino UA4C board. I have converted them over to an STM32 adapter, and I'm currently running the Epic EFI firmware, which is a fork or a branch of the Russ EFI. Although I know he doesn't like being associated with that. He doesn't like hearing that, but the Epic EFI stuff has been just so awesome for me on that one that I'm actually super excited to get it going on this one. I haven't quite figured out where I'm going to put this guy yet. The plan is to run alpha N, so the main load is going to be the throttle position sensor, and then I'm going to tie a map sensor into this guy and then run the vacuum ports to the throttle bodies. I can't necessarily use all 8 of them. These brass ports here are ported vacuum for some reason. They are above the throttle blade, so they're not going to help for any kind of what would be manifold vacuum, runner vacuum. There are 8 holes in the manifolds for an 8th NPT pipe thread, but I can't actually fit anything in between the cylinder head and the runner there. So I think these ports here, 4 of the throttles, the ones on each ends on each manifolds have these guys. Those are manifold vacuum. So I can just run the 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 into that guy, and then I can put a map sensor in here, and that will give me my map multiply running alpha N. Just don't know where to put this guy yet, man. I thought about maybe on the firewall, but I really have worked to not put anything on the firewall of this build. But that would, like, be the most logical. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I made myself the little bell crank pivot down here. That's just kind of floating in midair. Cable pull. Cable comes in from this side here and runs down the back. Having 8 throttle return springs, 1 on each throttle body, it is stiff. It is way too stiff to move those throttles. So I don't know if I can back off the tension off of each one. Maybe remove the 2 middle ones, just have the outside ones sprung. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the flywheel quite yet. This is a stock E38, E39 style dual mass flywheel, and they are very heavy. I know I don't want to use this clutch disc, because these things have no give on the streets. They are on-off switches. You cannot slip them. But I do have a stock clutch material, so I think I'll run that guy. Maybe that pressure plate that came with this one. Although I have a stock pressure plate also, brand new back there. But yeah, I don't know, man. The lightweight flywheels for this application, I have one in this setup here. And it is nice. You know, it's nice and snappy and quick and revvy. You have to idle them a little bit higher because they don't have the rotational mass to help them idle real low. So the idle RPM is a little higher. But since I put that lightweight flywheel in the other build, the pricing has just gone stupid. Now, I'll probably convince myself to get a lightweight flywheel for this thing, so it can be all rev happy. I'm still cleaning and painting stuffs, but we're getting there. It'd be really exciting to see this thing actually sitting in the frame. So yeah, thanks for checking out the progress on my project, on my build here, and come back for more. I'll try and stay more consistent and actually get some stuff to you. Thanks. Later.